What's your version of failure?
Well, I think to put it back to the old me and the new me and the athlete me or whatever, as an athlete, failure would have been, not winning a tournament that I knew that I could win, not beating an opponent that I knew I could beat. But now I think it's different. I don't really think of failure. I don't really think of, doesn't really come into, things don't go right, or they, I do something that's wrong or not the way I want it to be, or I make it, with my son, for example, he's 2, sometimes he's trying and I say something and I think, oh my God, I can't believe that came out of my mouth. And I say to him, I'm sorry, I shouldn't have reacted like that. That's, and, but I don't think, oh my God, I failed as a mother. I think, well, okay, how do I want to approach this next time? So I think that's where I look at things. Failure probably is like, well, I killed the plant because I didn't water it enough. That's probably where I'd think of failure now. But when I was competing, I think, although in saying that, I would put everything on a tournament. So it would be like I was going for that and I wanted to win and I was obsessed about, the strategy and the, studying all my opponents. And then when I didn't win, I'd always be like, straight away, get the video camera out, film all my opponents. Okay, back to the drawing board. How can we? So failure too, it wasn't like I'd sit and sulk and feel sorry for myself that I'd lost. It was like, okay.
Yeah.
So what didn't go right then? Because I felt like I had the skills to do that. So go back and I think all that planning, goal setting, writing things down, training diaries, and they're invaluable. They're great. They're a great way to get your ideas out and to put things down on paper and change them around and
What's important to you?
My family, So family and friends, it's probably the most important thing to me. Everyone being, happy and healthy. Things like just getting up in the morning and having breakfast with my son who doesn't stop talking, and it's just wonderful hearing his little voice, blah, 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 blah. So that's probably the most important thing. But from a professional side of things, just, having something that you really love doing and being excited about, and so writing the book or, going out and talking to people, and just that I just feel enthusiastic about those things. So, it's what I love doing, and so that's important. And always sort of just having things that challenge me. So I love, if I was, studying again or having a project that's, I can really get my teeth sunk into.
What do you think your legacy has been or will be to the sport of Taekwondo?
That women are great fighters. I think it's in history we've always had really strong women. So women have always done well internationally, and I often have people talk to me about women in sport and, how do you feel about this plight of women in sport? But for me, women are very strong in Taekwondo, and although it's a male-dominated sport politically, I never felt that women had didn't have a chance, because we were always the ones bringing back medals. So, men did too, but consistently over time, the women have, had this strength in the ring. And so I think that, that's really powerful. And I just got an email from a friend the other day, and I'm catching up with him to do some train spotting with our sons, because they're really into trains. And he said, just warning you that you might get some questions, because his son was talking to his friend, and his dad is an expert in karate. And so this little boy asked his dad, and he said, is he the best fighter that we know? And his dad said, well, actually, Lauren's the best fighter that we know. And I thought that's so, he's like, oh, Max, mum, so it's so random. Now I just don't think I'm the best fighter someone would know. Yeah. But I thought, well, that's great, that he thinks, that this mum is, as that's how he sees me, this little boy, is the best fighter that he knows. And so I think that's a great thing, is the strength of having, it's the only medal that's been won in Taekwondo, and it's
amazing.
By a small woman. It's not some, I think with fighting sports, people have this perception that it's massive big
Bigger
guys.
Yeah. So if you were a 10-year-old girl watching your 20-something-year-old self win the gold medal, how do you think you would have described that person?
Well, it's hard to say what I'd actually think, because I get so much feedback from these that age group. So I get a lot of girls writing on my website and writing to me. And, you know, a lot of them are really inspired. I have a lot of people who say, I started Taekwondo because of you. And so I think it sort of showed that, you know, that young girls can get involved in different sports and in martial arts. So I love the, you know, the feedback that I get. And, you know, often people write to me, you know, just before a grading, I'm going for my blue belt tomorrow. What should I do? You know, I'm like, it's 7 o'clock the night before they're grading. So, but, you know, I always write back to them. And, you know, I've had a lot of people say that they, that they got involved in the sport. And that's really wonderful. But I guess what I would like for them to see out of that is just, you know, be inspired by someone who is passionate about what they're doing. Yeah, and that you can achieve anything. And, you know, for me, one of the things I talk about when I talk to, you know, corporates, but particularly when I speak to kids, is that, you know, I started at 14. You know, I wasn't a child prodigy. I didn't start at 2 or 3 years old, and I didn't have this incredible talent. So when I started, I wasn't natural, and my instructor didn't see me and go, oh my God, you know, straight into the ring. Yeah. I was kind of just left in the background. My brother was amazing, and they were always pushing him to fight. But for me, it was, you know, it wasn't for quite some time that really started to manifest, and that, you know, or people even started to see that there was something there.
If you could give some advice to your 18-year-old self, what do you think you might like to tell her?
Recovery. Recovery, 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 recovery. Look after your body and recovery. Good warm-up, cool down, hydrotherapy, ice baths, like that chain. Once I got fully on board with all of that stuff, and there's recovery and there's recovery, and I'm talking about proper recovery sessions. So after the 2-hour Taekwondo or 3-hour Taekwondo session, walk to the pool, do a session in the pool, go and, you know, have hot and cold showers. That just changed my ability to perform the next day, like the next morning, you know, so not getting up really stiff and tired. And then as a result, the injuries, I just didn't have as many injuries once I started doing that. And people said it to me, and they said it's important to, you know, ice after training or this or that. And I did a little bit of it, but I didn't do it until sort of in that last couple of years before the games, and I just went, that's, if I knew then. Yeah.
What I know now.
Yeah.
So let's pretend you're 80.
Yeah.
Looking back on your whole life, all 3 parts of you, maybe there's a 4th and a 5th part, who knows. What would you like to be reflecting on?
Well, probably definitely my kids and my family and my friendships, you know. Like I've been, you know, my best friend and we catch up a few times a week. We've been friends since we were 10. You know, those things are so special, relationships and friendships. You know, and we've done so many things and we've had all these different life experiences, but we still, you know, come together. So I think, yeah, definitely my children and my husband and my family and my friendships is paramount. And then also I'd like to look back and go, oh yeah, I did that, and I was an athlete for a little while. That's hilarious, you know. So just, you know, looking back, and I went to the Olympics, you know, to have fun. You know, I don't even know I have got my gold medal, but other medals, I don't know where they are, like all my national medals. I've got them somewhere, but, you know, it's not the biggest thing in my life. I don't have trophy rooms or anything like that. Because the experience is inside, you know, and what it taught me being an athlete and all that process just feeds on to the next level of, you know, what I'm doing. And so I think I'd like to, you know, look back and be proud of some things and go, oh, gee, I made some mistakes there, and be excited about some of the things that I've produced, you know, like I quite like, you know, leaving a legacy of a few different things, yeah.
What do you not want to see?
I guess times where I've made misjudgments with friendships or people, or, you know, ended relationships badly and hurt someone, or they're the things where I just think, oh, if I could take that back, I would. But the best thing is that I, you know, can learn from that experience. So I think, again, you know, personal relationships and, you know, where things haven't ended as smoothly as you'd wanted to, or things that, you know, you've made bad judgments, or people have, you know, you've been misrepresented somehow. You know, you can't change all that, but I think the best that you can do is just, you know, change the way that you do things in the future. So I guess I'd look back and think, gee, you know, I wish that hadn't happened. But again, I don't really think I wish it didn't happen. It's more what you learn out of that.